Very good evening, everyone. Please confirm in the chat if you can hear me. Is my voice loud and clear? Okay, great. So, very warm welcome to the webinar Launch a Regulatory Affairs Career Worldwide. I'm Dr. Tanushree, your host for today. If there's one field that bridges science, compliance, and the global opportunities, it's regulatory affairs. In the next 1 hour, we'll explore the skills, certifications, industry insights, and strategies that will help you make your mark in the global regulatory landscape, whether in pharma, biotech, or medical devices. So, before we begin, I would like to introduce our esteemed speakers for today's session. We are joined by three expert speakers who bring real world experience and insider knowledge from the regulatory affairs domain. We have with us Mrs. Bhanu Melvin. With a strong academic foundation in pharmacy and over a decade of dynamic experience across academia, healthcare, regulatory affairs, and corporate training, Mrs. Melvin brings a holistic and agile approach to professional development and organizational excellence. She has successfully trained 1,500 plus individuals, including academic aspirants and working professionals, in the areas of clinical research, pharmacovigilance, clinical data management, regulatory affairs, and clinical SaaS programming. And she also holds several globally recognized certifications. Her multidisciplinary expertise enables her to connect scientific knowledge with regulatory and operational excellence, delivering impactful training and strategic solutions for the evolving life science industry. She is currently serving as an academic and research support specialist in clinical data management, pharmacovigilance, and regulatory affairs at Biotechnica. In her session, Mrs. Melvin will guide us on the essential skills required to excel in regulatory affairs globally. We warmly welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ganeshan.
Our next speaker is Mr. Chirag Panchal. Mr. Chirag Panchal holds a master's in pharmacy and brings over an extensive 14 years of diverse experience in regulatory affairs across global markets, including US, Europe, CIS, African countries, Latin America, Asian, and other international markets. He has worked with leading organizations such as Amneal Pharma, Novartis, Cipla, and Gufic Biosciences Limited, managing end-to-end regulatory submissions, dossier preparation, compliance, and health authority interactions. Mr. Panchal is currently serving as Manager, Regulatory Affairs at Amneal Pharma, Ahmedabad. Alongside his strong technical expertise, Mr. Panchal is a seasoned leader with a proven track record in guiding teams, streamlining submission processes, and ensuring first-time right regulatory compliance. Mr. Panchal, in his session, will walk us through the most recognized certifications and exams that can boost your global employability in this sector. We warmly welcome you, sir, and look forward to gaining from your rich experience and insights.
Thank you, Dr. Tanushree. My pleasure.
Also, we have with us Dr. Ganeshan. Dr. Ganeshan holds a PhD in microbiology and brings extensive experience in biosimilars, quality assurance, medical diagnostic laboratories, and medical devices. She has served as clinical director at Medical Electronic Systems India Private Limited, where she contributed to the development of an advanced diagnostic kit for semen analysis. Her expertise spans clinical trials, data analysis, and regulatory affairs, areas in which she has a strong professional interest. Passionate about teaching and learning, Dr. Ganeshan excels at making science and research relatable and engaging. Currently, she serves as scientific expert in QA/QC and global regulatory affairs at Biotechnica. In today's session, she will share valuable insights into industry and hiring trends and effective career launch strategies for aspiring regulatory affairs professionals. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tanushree.
So, our goal today is simple: to equip you with the knowledge and direction you need to start and grow your career in regulatory affairs with a global perspective. Now, before we start, dear attendees, please note, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box at any time during the webinar. We'll address them during the live Q&A session after all the speakers' presentations. Also, we have a surprise gift for you all, so be sure to stay until the end to claim yours. So let's begin with the first session. It's my pleasure to invite our first speaker, Mrs. Bhanu Melvin, who will take us through essential skills for a global regulatory affairs career. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Tanushree, for that warm welcome. And good evening, all the global regulatory aspirants here, be freshers or maybe experienced. Allow me to please share my screen so that I would like to show you what we are going to do. My screen is visible to all now.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yes, so today we'll be seeing into, or today I have been given this great opportunity to speak to all of you with 15 minutes. And I really wanted to appreciate every one of you this evening for being with us here in order to understand what is this global regulatory affairs and how is it very impactful in a career, be a fresher or an experienced person. And if you're already an experienced person, your enthusiasm to grow up in your careers or to move forward in your careers is what has brought you here today. So a real appreciation and a big round of applause for all of you here. So with valuing your time, so let us move ahead to the topic today. So I would like to just bring about what is regulatory affairs. So what do we really understand about regulatory affairs? I'm sure most of you must be knowing what is regulatory affairs, but let me just take through a small definition of this. So regulatory affairs is a profession that bridges between regulatory authorities. So these regulatory authorities, in a simple understanding, they have been appointed by the government of that particular country. So these authorities, whenever we tell about an authority, they have the right to enforce something to make sure that it is happening, right? So now we as a regulatory affairs professional, we are going to bridge between, or we are going to connect between someone to someone. So one end of this someone is the regulatory authorities. So they set the laws. So what are they doing up to? What are they up to? So they set the laws for regulating pharma products like your drugs, biotech products like biologics, vaccines, medical devices, cosmetics, textile industry. Even regulatory affairs is not only into healthcare, regulatory affairs is also into textile industry, and it is making a huge amount of market in the globally. FCM, that is food contact materials. So these are also a huge market out of India maybe, but these are also a huge market which is being led by the regulatory team. And what are these authorities doing? They're setting the rules to monitor, to look very carefully how these processes are actually happening, to assess, means to analyze and check whether that is happening in the right way as per the regulation set or not, and to investigate. If something is going wrong, they also investigate on these products. And what are they up to? After doing all these steps are being done for final approval. Because as an authority, a country wants healthy people. So when we deliver a medicine or when we come up with a new medical device, it needs to do something good for the society. It has to help or improve their health care. So none of us take medicines to get sick, right? So I don't sit at my home. I don't think so anyone. We don't sit at our homes and take medicines so that after some amount of time, my liver will get damaged. My kidneys has to get damaged. No, we don't do that. None of us, that's not the agenda of taking medicines. So the use of these medicines or all these things is to improve our health. Instead, if these things are degrading our health or deteriorating our health, something has to be done. And also one more point to add on, these all are businesses. So pharma is a business, biotech is a business. So they also look into their profits. So looking or concentrating on the profits, if a pharma company is not taking care of the regulations, then the health of the public is at stake. So there is a very high importance of these regulatory authorities and the regulatory affairs professional to make sure that safety of this medicine or safety of the public is with these medicines. So this is what we are going to bridge between. We are going to communicate between the authorities and the industry people. So we're going to explaining all these things. So now where is this regulatory affairs coming? It is coming in pharma industry, biotech and medical devices. In pharma, it is mostly coming with the drugs, new drug development, clinical research. Like any company cannot go and start a clinical trial, or they cannot go with the clinical research. There should be someone to ask us. There is already a product in the market which is serving the need. Then why do you want to come up with this new product? What is the speciality of your product? Yes or no? If no one questions, then everyone will come up with this new molecules. So there is no need. We need to move ahead. We don't want to stuck in one place and then move all around. So that is the reason regulatory affairs also questions these things. Yeah, right before your study starts or anything. Research and development, preclinical studies. So they will not allow anyone to directly go into your clinical trials. So they will hold you, look into your preclinical studies, make sure that it is really appropriate for your drug molecule to get into the clinical trials. Then in clinical trials, as we all know, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, multiple steps, applications, audits, all these things happen. Finally, your drug is into the market. In clinical trials are happening only in very less population, right? Maximum of 5,000 people, all the four clinical trials, all the three phases. Now, what is the population only in India that is present? And just let us compare the population in one clinical trial with the Indian population. It is actually nowhere. So a drug is going to act in a good way in this small population, but what about the huge market out there? So post-marketing surveillance is another area where new amount of adverse drug reactions might come up. So regulatory authorities again play a role in reporting them, in making sure that if it is anything serious adverse event, that drug or device has to be recalled. Then coming to the biotech, it is a very booming industry nowadays, and India is leading very fast in the biotech industry in developing biologics, gene therapies, biosimilars, cell-based treatment, vaccines. Vaccines, we all have seen what happened in COVID-19. So regulatory authorities also monitor on the steps like product development, the regulatory intelligence, so how we are going to apply all these things. Clinical trial applications, dosage preparations, very similar to the pharma products as well. Labeling requirements. Labeling is what we see on the outside. The outside we see and then we understand much of the content. So in the same way, what is on the outside has to be in the inside the product as well. So labeling also plays a very important role. So these are all the various roles where regulatory affairs are coming into the picture, even in the biotech industry. In the medical devices, I would like to highlight some points. Apart from the similar points like your strategical development, classifications and all those things, medical devices, sometimes they are based on electricity. So we have certain certifications for this as well, like ROHS, hazardous substances. We also have certain certifications for the voltage, the current that passes through that device. So there are multiple things that happens with different category of product. A category that is viewed in one way in India might not fall into the same category in the US. So they are different. So based on that, we need to frame our product. So we need to design our application. So we need to select our applications. So a regulatory person has to have all these things in order to get into this place. So labeling, compliance, quality management systems, technical documentations, and clinical evaluation reports, managing all those things, training, cross-functional support. So these are all into medical devices. Now we're seeing into core technical skills. So what technical skills do we need to have? Consider I have some X product and I do not know anything about that product. What am I going to speak? What am I going to communicate? How am I going to move forward? We cannot do anything without having regulatory knowledge, because we need to first understand whether that particular product falls into a drug or a biosimilars or a medical device. Without that, we cannot. So we need to have a good regulatory knowledge. What are the standards that India has set for these products? What are the standards that are globally approved? Yes, these kind of things. Scientific and technical knowledge. So we need to know, consider a drug, because very quite familiar to all of us, how a drug is developed. What are the phases that are involved in the clinical trials? When we know them, we will be knowing what to question, where to question, what is lagging, or what is the gap, where we need to communicate. So we need to have scientific and technical knowledge. If you're talking about an electronic devices, which is a medical device, we need to know what certifications does that category require. What amount of voltage is being sent to that device? Is it harmful? What is the shelf life of that? How long it will be stable? So all these things are the scientific and the technical knowledge that we have. Attention to detail. As I worked as a regulatory affairs officer, I'll tell you it's fun to work as a regulatory affairs person because you get challenges every day. You get issues every day. It can be, it might be because of the same product. It can be because of the same product, but you will really understand every day the problem is different. So you don't get bored actually. I never was. So attention to detail. What is your problem? You need to immediately come up with the solutions. Project management skills, again, a very amazing quality that we need to have, because if a company wants to bring a drug into the market or a particular product into the market, they don't plan yesterday night and then they don't launch it tomorrow, right? We plan it quite ahead. They have many things to go on. So we need to know by this date, by this time, this task has to be completed. How do we have that? We will get to this particular project management when you have the regulatory knowledge, you know the application deadlines, when you have the scientific and technical knowledge, you know about how much time it takes to finish this task, you know what detail to ask or what detail to be addressed. So that brings you to a good project management skills. Next one, communication and negotiation skills. This is the blood of regulatory affairs. You need to communicate. Communication is not the accent that we speak, and it's not about that. It's about when I am talking something, the words that I am uttering out is reaching you, you are able to understand that. And when you are able to reciprocate to me, means you are understanding me and you are getting back to me. Means you understood what I spoke. This is literally communication. I would like to add a small example. When I was working, see, we work with multiple vendors, multiple stakeholders. It's not like some of them might be into the field, some of them are literally out of the field, like they can be just working with the production and all. So they don't understand your regulatory terms. Then, you know, when we don't communicate to them that this is what is required, how can a person working at a factory, I mean, the person working at a factory, like for example, the QMS document, quality management system documents, you need to have an ISO certificate for the factory to check its validity. Yeah. So you cannot write an email just stating, send me the ISO 9000, this one for the certificate or whatever ISO it is. How will the receptionist even understand for what you're asking that? So we cannot be very weird, and also your communication will literally give fruitful results, right? So we need to communicate them. See, I have this one. So can you please send me this certificate to check the validity? Then they'll clearly tell you whether it is expired. If there is a renewed certificate, then they'll send you that. Yeah. Then the documentations. We need to be very good in organizing, which most of us will learn slowly as we get into this career. And dossier preparation, again related to your regulatory knowledge, compliance knowledge, again related to regulatory knowledge. Key soft skills, communication with your industry. You will even communicate with your CEOs. Your CEO might take your opinions on whether I can launch this product or no, whether it will be, whether we can abide by or we can obey the rules for this particular product in India. Is it okay to launch? If it is a no, we need to have that strength or courage and confidence to say it as a no. No, you cannot launch a product. You cannot go against the regulations. So we need to be that strict. At the same time, always walking with a strict face in an office will not fetch you results. So you need to be smiling at the same time, being very harsh as well. When you need to get your work done, you need to know how to act. It's a very good balance of anger and smile at the same time. Your half of your face has to smile and half of your face has to be angry. Maybe, I know I didn't get practice to it yet, but still, yes, you need to be very strict in telling no. This is your communication. Your strict stand on your profession will give that confidence and strength, and it will reflect with others, and they will act accordingly to you because you're the person working in your field. You know what to do, when to ask, when to get that attention to detail. Again, a very important thing. Understanding the product and deadlines, you know when you need to get that product. It is only you who can understand that. Project management, it helps you to organize and plan ahead all the things. When your product has to launch, it will avoid delays. The whole company will be around you for the product launch. So your strategic planning, which is again a very great soft skill, strategic planning. So before winding up, I would like to add a small thing is strategic planning. One of the skill that regulatory person has to have. We all plan, right? So we plan like this time I'm going to wake up, and this time I'm going to do these things. The difference between strategic planning and planning is we plan, but we don't know whether it will succeed or not. Strategic planning is you calculate practically and you make plans and you will succeed. There is no after a strategic planning. So this is one of the basic and very important effort or a skill that we all need to have in regulatory affairs, because you will not fail in your submissions. You will not fail in submitting your documents. You will not fail in meeting your deadlines. This is all strategic planning. So let us get a bit familiar with all the regulatory authorities present. FDA, Food Drug Administration of the United States; EMA, European Medicines Association of Europe; India, CDSCO, Central Drug Standard Control Organization; MHRA, Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, UK; TGA, Therapeutic Goods Administration for Australia; PMDA, Pharmaceuticals and Medical Devices Agency, Japan. So these are some of the main famous regulatory authorities across the globe who set standards and makes regulations. Yeah. Then there are many other digital tools that are present, and nowadays with the advancement of technology, thanks to them. And there are regulatory information management systems. We call it as RIMS. Mostly Viva Vault, we have Kivo, we have these are some of the things. Electronic document management systems and artificial intelligence tools, especially natural language processing, is booming. So we need to keep on changing with the technology, getting into our pharmaceutical field as well. So we need to learn these new things to be with the flow. Submission, publishing tools, ECTT submissions, and all these things. So technology is also playing a very important role. So we can also look into improving ourselves with these technologies and staying ahead in the regulatory affairs field. So these are all some of the things I wanted to show you. So just getting into your main topics. So this is a brief about regulatory affairs and some of the skills. So the one of the quote that I really like is, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream." Yeah, C.S. Lewis. So all of us have to start having a dream for the dream, and let it succeed. Again, have a dream. So we are never old for that. Thank you so much. You're all here because you are having a dream, and let all your dreams come true. Hope I have shared some amount of knowledge for all of you with this small time. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Tanushree.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an insightful session on the technical and soft skills needed for regulatory affairs, and especially the personal experience that you shared was very helpful, definitely for attendees in understanding the role of regulatory affairs professionals in shaping global compliance and product safety. So before we move over to the next session, I would like to request all the attendees, please post your questions in the chat. If you have any doubt, any query regarding how to make a career in regulatory affairs, or if you have any question regarding the regulatory affairs field, please feel free to post your questions in the chat. We have esteemed speakers and experts with us who will be taking up your questions and answering them. So feel free to post your questions in the chat. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for such an insightful session. So now moving over to our next session, I would like to invite Mr. Chirag Panchal sir to share his experience, on how to choose the right certification, how to prepare for it, and balance it with practical experience. So to you, sir.
Sure. Yeah, very good evening. Thank you, Ms. Bhanu, for sharing insight of regulatory affairs domain, and sharing the insights of the roles and responsibilities in RA role. My name is Chirag, and it's pleasure to be here with you all today. I'll be talking about something that can really shape your professional journey in regulatory affairs, that is certifications, and how they can connect to long-term career growth. Whether you are just starting out or already have experience in this field, today's session will help you map out your certification path and prepare effectively and balance that with gaining and kind of practical experience employers truly value. So here's the flow of our session. First, we will look at the recognized certifications in regulatory affairs, including both global and regional options. Next, we will dive into eligibility requirements, exams, formats, smart preparation strategies. After that, we will discuss how to choose the certification that aligns with our career goals and the regions you want to work in. And finally, we will talk about the balancing your certification journey with real world experience. And I will share example of wherever you can find those opportunities. So here you can see the short-term credentials. So let's start with that. These are the these are great if you want to build a foundation quickly, specialize in one regulatory domain, or strengthen your CV without commenting to a full-length global certification. So they often run for a few weeks or a few months and can be done alongside your current job. So for example, let's see if you are interested in medical devices domain. So there are certification course of ISO standards teaching you the compliance courses which you can stand out with the knowledge. Or if you are looking at the pharmacovigilance rules, the PV specific short course can make your job ready faster. The key here is speed and the specialization. But remember, while short term credentials are valuable, they don't usually carry the same industry wide recognition as some of the certificates do. That we will look in a further slide. So, I was talking about this, so recognized certifications. Now, let's move to the heavyweight players. So, RAC is one of the heavyweight players which each of the regulatory members wanted to stamp in their CVs. So at the top of the list is the RAC certification, that is Regulatory Affairs Certification, offered by the Regulatory Affairs Professional Society, which is called REPS. It is widely respected with versions of US, Europe, and the global master markets. Now you must be thinking, why is RAC so valued? Now, as you see, if you want to do management, you go for IIT. If you go do want to some management roles, then IIMs, right? The same is the if you want to build career in regulatory affairs, yeah, this certification make real value in your career growth. Now, because it is seen as proof that you understand not just regulations, but how to apply them across product life cycles. Apart from RSE, you have regional licensing exams. For example, as Ms. Bhanu said, that if you want to have the knowledge of MHR in UK submissions, they have certification courses which you can go through and have a specialization in, or a local postgraduate diploma courses also you can get into, which many universities give their service. So these all options may be more relevant if you want to focus on one region or meet a specific market regulatory requirements. So you can always choose the career growth where you wanted to build your career in. So regulatory affairs can be built in different markets, in a different regions or different global station. Now the next question comes the certification details. So let's take a closer look on what the RAC is. Now, the first thing first is eligibility. Now, when you can get RAC certification, when you have a bachelor degree plus 3 years of regulatory experience, then you can opt for RAC certification. Or if you have a master degree and you have 2 years of experience, then also you can opt for uh, RAC certification exams. Now coming to exam. So how long is it? So it has 2 hours long session with 100 MCQs questions taken online and proctored remotely. So yes, you can take it from home or anywhere else, but don't underestimate the challenge. It's the toughest certification you can go for. Then next is content. So it covers regulatory strategy, compliance, product lifecycle management, and post-market requirements. Now coming to validity, you must having the thought that how much validity it will be. So validity is 3 years, after which you can renew by earning continuing education credits or by retaking the exam. So this is the validity which they give. Recognition, which is very important, which you can take up to your resume and write it in your CVs that you have this certification. So it is respected globally in pharma, medical devices, biologics, and even in certain cosmetic and food regulatory rules. I often compare the RSA certification to a passport. So it doesn't guarantee a job, but it open doors you might not otherwise access. So this will give you a you a good kick to your career growth. Now coming to the important part, preparation strategies. Now this certification is not something to take lightly. You can prepare for this very strategically. So first thing is first core materials. So you must be thinking, if I'm preparing for the exams, where will I get the material, right? So when you prepare for the B Farm exams or BSc, MSc exams, you must be thinking, what are the MCQs? What are the important material I can go with? So core material for the RAP exam is available, for the RAC exam is available on the RAPs. Fundamental of Regulatory Affairs books, they are comprehensive and aligned with exam content, which will really help you for the preparation. Now, structured learning, which is very important. So considering RSC prep, there are many courses, as I said, in reps. There is also called organization TOPRA or DIA. So these are the organizations which help you with multiple content which you can go through and prepare for the examinations. Then as we say that when we always opt for the competitive exams, we always take care that we prepare a mock test, right? So this is where many people make or break their successes. So doing regular mock test and analyzing your mistakes trains your brain for the actual exam piece. So I will always emphasize all of you to take mock test before applying for the real exam. Then coming to time management. Or any competitive certification, minimum of 3 to 6 month plan is realistic for the working professions. If you are fresher, then I would suggest that minimum you should take 6 to 12 months to prepare for all these examinations. So I would recommend 2 hours of study on weekdays and 4 to 5 hours the weekend. So this strategical time management will really help you to prepare for this certification courses. Last but not the least, the short-term certifications. If you targeting role which requires a niche skills like regulatory writing or device submissions, you can do a smaller course alongside RA prep to boost your immediate value. But always remember, the exam test applied knowledge, it's not just about memorizing laws. It's about knowing how they interact in real situations. Uh, my next slide is how what to choose and when to choose. Right now, there are multiple certification courses in the market. You must be thinking that which course should I start with, on which course should I do simultaneously, or which course should I emphasize more, or which course will help me in boosting my career. So before starting any course, you need to understand what you are good at it, what you are targeting your regulatory affairs career growth with. So you should always pin your goal and then choose your certification, which is very important in career growth. So for example, here I have showed that if you are choosing the US country as for a career, starting career, or targeting that I want to build my regulatory affairs career into US market, then you should opt for RAC US. Same with EU submissions. So when you so I have always said, so if you have 2 3 years of experience in regulatory affairs or any domain, this will help you to understand in which career role or in which region you want to focus and you want to build your career, and accordingly you should choose the certification course. This will not only help you to master in this course, but it will help you to get a focus on that particular region. So if you are opting for EU submissions, you should go for RAC EU. And if you want to go for global strategy role, right, then you can opt for RAC global role. And if you're looking for local licensing exams, for say you are opting for CDC CO licensing exams, patent agent exams, so you should choose particularly that certifications. Or you can offer PG diploma courses giving certification in that particular region. So you should always choose your niche, or you with focus and with dilemmatic strategic entry into certification course. uh, think of this as a aligning your certification to the map of your career, as I said, where you are now and where you want to be in coming 3 to 5 years. So this will help you to grow your career growth slow and steadily with acknowledging and feeding yourself with the good certifications. Then comes balancing certification and experience. uh, I would say the truth is certifications are powerful. I mean, they are very good. They add to your CV, and your CV gets shortlisted very easily. That seeing your certifications, but they don't replace hands-on experience. In interview, they won't ask what certification you have. They will ask you in the certification you have. How do you apply your knowledge into the real world experience? So this is the key where you have to go hand in hand with your certifications and the experience you can apply in the regulatory affairs role. Okay, so that's why I always recommend work plus study approach. Even if your current job isn't in regulatory affairs, find projects that let you interact with regulatory teams. So for example, supporting a submission, reviewing labeling, or working in a compliance audits. So I would always say that when you opt for regulatory certifications, uh, you deepen your knowledge. Along with that, you should always talk to your seniors who are working regulatory affairs portfolio. You should get in touch with the LinkedIn members or the LinkedIn person who are working in MNC companies, which can help you to guide you. How is it, how you can apply your knowledge, what you're getting into it. Or if you are already working in a regulatory affairs role, in a junior role, you should talk with your seniors that if I have this particular regulation, how strategically I can build in and implicate or apply my knowledge into it, so that I can get a faster approvals, or I can get a faster commercialization of the products into the market. So these are the things goes hand to hand. It is not that you got a certification and you are knowledgeable. No, your in hand experience and your application will always help you to grow in a regulatory affairs role. Also, be selective. doing too many certification back to back can dilute your focus. So as I said, be focused, select a certification where you want to grow in and get actual projects you wanted to work in that particular domain. So this will really help your uh, doubling your experience as well as the fast growth in your career. Now, very important that you must be thinking there are courses, there are knowledgeable people, but where should I apply my knowledge and where should I start my regulator for career with, right? So there are many CROs like IQVA, Paraxel, Sanops. These companies are great working across multiple products and markets. So you should always come in contact with the CROs. If your friends are working with them, get in touch with them and ask if there is an internship role that can really help you if you can enter the CRO market. Same goes with pharma companies. There are many MNC pharma companies like Sun, Dr. Reddy, Cipla, Zydus. Uh, they work in end-to-end exposure of the product life cycle. So here you can learn that how the registration works, how the life cycle of the product works, how to maintain the quality of the product throughout the commercialization, and keep on taking the commercialization throughout it. So these companies, if you can get an internship, free internship, I mean, don't expect money out of it, but if you get 6 month internship, it will really help you to grow your knowledge very fast, and that can really help you in your career growth. Also, there are many regulatory consultancies like Freyas, Pharmalex. These companies give opportunities to the freshers. They guide you, they teach you, and this can be a stepping stone of your career. So this opportunities you should keep on exploring wherever you get it. And not last but not the least, here strategy, as I said. So 0 to 6 month enroll in a foundational courses like GXP certification, regulatory lifecycle certification, dossier format certifications, and all this. Then 6 2 months you can apply your knowledge into the market, apply for internship, entry roles, or voluntary positions in regulatory, right? So this will help you to boost your career growth. And after 12 plus months, go for this RAC certifications, right? Which can really put value in your CVs. So this can in coming 3 4 years you will be like pro in regulatory affairs, and you keep growing simultaneously. You keep growing in your roles, you keep growing in your knowledge, you keep growing in your applications, and it will help you in boosting your career. So this was all from it. Just want to summarize today's session. So as I said, choose certification that match your career direction and geography. Prepare seriously, giving yourself at least 3 to 6 months minimum. And remember, experience isn't optional. The best career growth happens when certifications and practical skills work together. So always be keen, be have a mindset of learning throughout a career. And with my experience, I would say that keep, make make a single day that you will learn a small thing out of in your job. So let it be a small thing in your regulation, let it be a small thing in a dossier preparation, let it be a small thing in a quality compliance, anything, but each day should be learning for you. So that's it from my side. Thank you for listening, and I hope the session gave you a bit of clarity in how to approach certifications strategically. I would like to discuss further, and you can always reach to me on my email ID shown here, and also you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. I will be really happy to help you, each one of you, and I will thank Bhartika for giving me an opportunity to speaking and share my knowledge to each one of you. And I wish you a very best in your regulatory journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a practical overview of clarifications and for showing us how these credentials can open international doors for RA professionals. Also, the company's insight that you have shared to get practical experience was really helpful. And also, your tips on preparation strategies and balancing learning with experience was extremely valuable. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
For our final session, we have Dr. Ganeshan, who will talk about industry insights and career launch strategies, a must know for anyone who wants to break into regulatory affairs and grow globally. So, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I must say, being the last one to present definitely does put a pressure on you. And to the attendees, thank you so much for sticking around till now, because I know it is definitely your interest in this field and your dedication to get ahead in your career, which is actually prompting you to stay over and stay with us. So I'd like to start with my last presentation, which would probably give you much more clarity, or at least summarize everything for you. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So, thank you. At the outset, I would like to thank you all. And it gives me a great pleasure to meet you all today. And I thank Dr. Tanushree and all the speakers before me for a wonderful session so far. And it gives me a great happiness to contribute my own part to it. So, we all have seen that medical affairs is a very crucial component of the healthcare industry. And in this session, we are going to cover the industry insights and strategies which is going to help you launch your career in regulatory affairs. So, what are the key insights observed in the regulatory affairs market? So, we've been hearing about regulatory affairs in the market and so much that I would like to give you a bird's eye view of it. So, let us break down the regulatory affairs, medical regulatory affairs in particular, into three parts. You can put it into pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, and medical devices. We'll go into each of them separately, but just to give you a very small idea, medical devices, like anything right from a thermometer to the biggest implant that you have in human body for treatment. So this industry of global medical device is actually estimated to have a tremendous growth over the next 10 years. In 2021, this market was estimated to be about 7,000 million, and within 2031 it is projected to be 12,000 million. So this is coming from Allied Market Research, and this shows that the growth is largely because of an increasing demand for medical devices. Now, we are looking for medical devices for everything: diagnostic laboratories, for therapeutics, for treatment, everything. Earlier, people used to do blood glucose by simple Benedict's method. We all, I'm sure, have done it in our 12 standards. However, now everything is an auto analyzer. So, given that a device is doing all these diagnostic, there is definitely going to be a lot of stringent regulatory compliance required to ensure the safety and efficacy of this device. So, this implies that we have more career opportunity and more role for a very good regulatory professional. So, what are the current hiring trends? So, let us break it into like the biotech industry, pharma industry, medical device industry. Why and how is the current trend affecting us? So, you see that the current trend is because of a rapid boom in innovation, a whole lot of global competition, and extreme demand for skilled professionals. And that is why we need to be over the best of the best to give to make a career very successful in this field. So the current trends out in this industry, they include the increased in-office requirements. So cut back to about 10 years back, there used to be regulatory consultants. And if any industry produced a product, they used to go to these consultants and they used to guide you from, from filing an application to getting an approval. So the same consultant used to do it for multiple companies. Nowadays, there is an increasing demand for each of the companies to have their own inbuilt regulatory affairs team. So companies like Vertex Pharmaceuticals, they actually prioritize having everything in office so that the regulatory team is constantly in touch with the drug development team to foster a collaboration, maybe sit along with the innovating team and solve problems as to how the filing should take place. Is it a first and use drug, or something new, and how should it go along the regulatory submission pathway? And other than that, there is also a tremendous increase in technological transformation. So you see that nowadays we have so many AI powered tools which can help you identify a drug to a particular target gene by looking into and analyzing patents, publications, and technical records. So there needs to be a regulatory professional with a technical knowledge who can look right into these and understand their implication and their relevance and make very important decision. Like Mrs. Bhanu had said that so many companies are getting new molecules. uh, are we doing something new? Why are you doing this? So how would you know that until you have someone who looks into the literature and tells you, hey, this is already there, or how we can be more better? So these are the things a regulatory affairs professional needs to make a note. More than this, all the companies are going for branding, and every biotech candidate would love to be a part of the brand, and say a big pharma company, and thus a regulatory affairs professional can be a part of a very important company and make key decisions over here. So if the industries are hiring RA professionals, how many career options do you think they can have? Can you take a guess? Let me help you in taking all the guesses that you need. So let us start with the pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceuticals are the existing medicines from the generics and to the brands where there is an extreme need of regulatory compliances. There are so many pharmacopoeias and regulatory guidelines which are going to help the companies and the RA professionals make very important decisions going ahead. And there are laws which you have to comply to make such important submissions. In the field of biotechnology, there are something known as biosimilars. I'm sure we've all heard of it. Biosimilars, you may have heard of different mAbs. Say, today I want to produce an adalimumab. Then I have to make sure that I'm producing a new mAb with a genetically modified cell line, and I'm able to make sure that this adalimumab is similar in function, in nature, in its efficacy and safety to the forerunner or the primary drug which is already in the market. That's how you prove it's a biosimilar. So there will be a lot of regulatory requirements. You'll have to make submissions to the review committees and the genetic manipulation committees, and the regulatory affairs professional has to make sure he knows the correct path in which he files these drugs and gets an approval. So navigating through the regulatory framework is a very key important decision making in biotechnology industries. Finally, medical devices, as I mentioned, they are my favorite because having worked in them myself, I can see the tremendous potential in how everything is being automated, and an increasing demand simply means that there are so much of scope for overseeing the regulatory compliances in these medical devices and equipment. Remember, to make a career in regulatory affairs, it is not just about making a career and being successful economically, but it is also about making these drugs and devices safer for the public. And you have a very, very key role and an impactful role to play in this society. So, if you do have a role, what are the trending roles in biopharma? You can be regulatory specialists, quality assurance professionals, and compliance officers. Yes, I know that we have already spoken about these things, and they do seem very, very special roles, and they are very nice to spell out. But what are the skills? I'm sure we all remember Bhanu ma'am talking about this. We need a knowledge of the regulatory requirements because there are simply so many regulatory agencies that we really need to make sure where we are applying and what are the guidelines that we need to follow. Analytical and problem solving skills, communication, and project management skills. I can barely emphasize what Bhanu ma'am already said and what Mr. Chirag actually said about having experience in all these things. So, having a note of all these things, I keep saying you need so many skills, there are so many roles. I'm sure there is a question cropping up in between all of us, that what are the salary trends of this particular role in a regulatory affairs career, and what is the position of these salary trends globally and in India. I'm sure this question is nagging us, so let us get to that without much further ado. So, before we get to that, we should remember that factors affecting salary are totally dependent upon the location. Salaries vary depending upon the location where you are choosing to work. For example, there are a lot of openings for this particular career in California, Greater Boston, and US. And India is fast catching up with the need and requirement for successful and professional RA experts. Experience definitely matters, as Mr. Chirag said. Never leave an opportunity for every single internship because they are your stepping stones to gain these experience. A senior level professional will definitely be earning more in terms of salary and respect. And finally, the industry in which you work definitely matters because there are different scales of industry all across India coming up. And depending upon the pharma, biotech, or medical device manufacturers, there are different range of salaries which are present. And advanced degrees like MD and PhD definitely give you an edge, and I can vouch for that. But that simply doesn't mean that if you are just a graduate with a lot of experience, you'd be earning any less. It is definitely balanceable, but that degree does matter. Just look at the range of the annual salaries for regulatory affairs professionals. So if you have to go about it for designation wise, a vice president who is specialized in regulatory affairs can earn as much as $300,000 annually, and it can range between anywhere between like 200 to 150 us 150,000 US dollars for regulatory affairs specialist. So, for a budding country where regulatory affairs is strongly taking roots, like in India, you can see it is industry specific, and anywhere between a 5 lakh to a 20 lakh packages right at the beginning for regulatory affairs. And when you become a biotechnology consultant or a pharmaceutical regulatory specialist, you can look something into like 8 to 28 lakhs annually. So, with this growth potential, what do you think of the global mobility? When I say global mobility, I say so because sitting here in India, you can definitely understand, learn, and have experience with the US FDA submissions, the EU, and learn a lot more. And it will definitely let you interact cross border with different international companies. So, there is definitely career advancement. There are huge opportunities to climb that career ladder from being a specialist to a director to a vice president. Yes, there is a lot of scope. And global mobility, working with international companies, because I remember in my previous career, I was sitting along here in India and working with the regulatory professionals in Israel, where the headquarters was existing. It was a great experience, and to understand different regulatory requirements and from their point of view and how they raise every single non-conformity and how you would think of an answer to those non-conformities stipulated within the laws. It was a really great experience, and I definitely wish that all of you aspirants definitely have all this experience. And further, there is definitely going deeper rather than going lateral. Like you can specialize in any single field of specialization. For example, the IVF field presently is having a great demand, and there are a whole lot of medical devices which are specializing in andrology, semen analysis, and in IVS diagnostic centers. So, if you happen to focus on this therapeutic area or in this regulatory domain, there will be very few players, and you will be having a huge market to explore all by yourself. All said and done, how do you build a global ready resume and prepare for your interviews and make that successful career? So, to succeed in the career, tailor your resume and highlight every single regulatory affair experience that you ever have. So go for that small internship, and like Mr. Chirag said, don't think of the money initially. You will definitely find the experience paid you off. Practice the interview skills. Prepare with the common RA interview questions, which are frequently posted on many social websites, including LinkedIn. There will be a lot of interviews which will be, posted over there, and you can definitely gain an insight from that. And talking of LinkedIn, definitely build a professional network. Attend the industry events, whether online, offline, join the professional associations. And trust me, it definitely helps you because you are what your associations make out of you. Think of all the networking strategies that are open in this world where we are full of social network, professional network. So leverage those professional associations. And Mr. Chirag definitely spoke about the RAPs and the DIA. So let me give you a small just about RAPs. Other than the certification, of course, the purpose of this RAPs was to provide educational and professional development opportunities, and they advocate, for the regulatory profession and the correct profession, and they focus on the regulatory and the policies that the world needs at present. So you'll find people who speak this language. Whereas the Drug Information Association was to mobilize all the science professionals to collaborate on the healthcare issues, and you can brood on the scope, and you can talk about the healthcare outcome of trials. You can talk about them. So when you're in association with these people, you tend to stay ahead in news. You can access the industry news and resources. You have networking opportunities, and you have to be updated on the industry trends. So that is very, very important. And finally, let me talk about how Biotechnica can help. So if Biotechnica can help, we are surely there to help you. We have some interesting courses with hands on training and real life experiences from the experts, career guidance advice from the experts, and training and upskilling. So, talking about training and upskilling, let me tell you about a whole lot of things that you can do at the present age where AI and digital tools are really, really going to help you. So, you need training in all these areas where you would be trained to look into the new policies and how you can find compliances and compatibility for your regulatory guidelines and the product that you may have to make a submission for. There are a lot of templates and tools which will help you make those submissions go straight to your approvals. And finally, we are also here to provide you industry insights and access to the industry news, current trends, the market strategies, and the best practices in place so that you can always make a mark and make your name in the career of regulatory affairs. With a thank you note, I would just like to mention that remember, regulatory affairs is where science is actually meeting your policy and for your patient benefit. And every single work in regulatory affairs touches lives of millions lives, and it shapes future. So thank you for your attention for so long, and I would be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing a comprehensive view of global hiring trends, entry level pathways, and networking strategies. Especially your points on resume building and interview preparation are sure definitely going to help our attendees to take actionable steps in their career journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, dear attendees, now it's time for our Q&A session. Please post your questions in the chat, which will be taken by our experts, because it's your opportunity to directly interact with our speakers and get answers to your queries. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and I will read them out to our panel. So to start with, we have a question from Karan. Karan wants to know that is there enough opening in RA for certified pressure? So I would like to request Chirag sir and Bhanu ma'am also kindly be available for the Q&A session. Yeah, so we have this question. It's on the screen. It's from Karan. That is there enough opening in RA for certified pressure? Like to take up this question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are multiple positions. Is it starting your career as a fresher or maybe 2 3 years of experience? I would, as I said in my presentation, that you can I mean, get in touch with your LinkedIn friends, LinkedIn seniors, LinkedIn contacts throughout many companies and get in touch with them, ask for the opportunity if they have, or maybe if you can start up with the internship in the companies. Nowadays, many company gives opportunities to the freshers for 6 months of internship, wherein they don't pay, but they give exposure in the regulatory affairs profile, and that can help you to they can help you to get insight how does the workflow in regulatory affairs career. So this can help you to start your career. And if you're experienced in your regulatory affairs field or in any other cross-function team, you can go for the internal transfer that can help. So internal transfer in the companies can also help you to start your career in regulatory affairs. Uh, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope this answers your question, Karan. I have few questions from our students as well. So there is a question that how can fresh graduates break into regulatory affairs without prior industry experience? So Bhanu ma'am, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. So, being said, those are the fresh graduates, and there is no experience. So, there is nothing we can do without an opportunity because there's no experience, right? And experience comes with an opportunity. So, in that case, the only thing that a fresher can do is see, people can stop you or they can question you on your experience, but not on your knowledge. So, the one thing that every fresher has to do is before applying for any job, be it in any domain, especially if it is in RA, always understand you have to stand with knowledge in an interview or before going for an interview. Be very well prepared because you only have the maybe the equipment of knowledge with you, the regulatory knowledge. So in order to get equipped, what you need to do is please go through the company's profile, have a very good understanding what the company is actually dealing with. Then understand the job description very carefully. Go through it multiple times. Note down the points. What are they asking for? What do they need from me? Because they are precious and they need to pick you up. Means what is that they'll pick you up? At least have the knowledge that they're asking for. Like if they're asking like having a good knowledge or hands-on experience in ECTD submissions. So you don't have that because you're a fresher. But you can get immense amount of knowledge from the internet about what is ECTD, examples about that one, how do they do that, how do they submit that, what and all have to be prepared in that, how does in India we do with that one because it's a common technical document. What are the differences that we have? Look for where the company is exporting and importing in case if they're doing because they'll be having types over there as well. So you might be working in India, but you'll have to do the submissions abroad. So look over there. So equip yourself with the knowledge. So there is no point of experience that comes there. Always be the face of your knowledge, and surely you will be picked in. But do not expect that I'm a fresher, I will not be picked up. You will get that opportunity, but it always focuses on how we portray ourselves with the knowledge. With the knowledge, no one can stop you. It is not a pressure, it is not an experience. You will get placed, but understand the company, understand the job role, what they need, and what you have to give them. Theoretically, you can crack any interview. So, this is all from my end. So, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it's a wonderful answer and definitely going to help our students, especially because they have this lot of they have this question that they are just freshers, they are just pass outs, they have just completed the graduation or post graduation, but they want to make a career in this field. So whether they can apply or not, whether they will be considered, whether they will be shortlisted in the interview or not. So thank you for such a wonderful answer. We have few questions in the chat. There is a question from Samta Patil that how can one with long career gap can proceed? So if any of you would like to take up this question.
I think I would like to do that, Dr. Tanushree, if I may. Okay,
Sure, sure.
yeah. So a long career gap doesn't matter as long as you're still staying updated. As I mentioned, there are a lot of possibilities of networking. Stay on that LinkedIn page, look at the current trends and news, stay current and updated. As Bhanu said, nobody can take that knowledge away from you. So it doesn't matter if you're having a break, you stayed back to take your family and any reason for that matter, because I had a career break for 4 years and I could always come back if you still have that enthusiasm in you and you have many things to support you. Like you have short term courses, you have people whom you can reach out to who can give you the current tools and the current knowledge, or at least the thirst of it. So a career break should not definitely matter as long as you stay in touch. And there is always internet, and there is always networking strategy which will help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful answer. I hope this answers your question, Samta. We have a question from Niranjan Vidas. Niranjan wants to know that I'm a MSc Biotech graduate. My final results are not yet published. I'm more interested in regulatory affairs, pharmacovigilance. So where should I start? Uh, Chirag sir, would you like to take up this question? Sir, you're not audible. I think you're muted. Sir, you're not
Yeah, I'm
audible.
sorry. Am I
Yeah.
am I audible now? Yes, sorry.
Yes,
I was muted.
we can, no, we can hear you.
So as I said, starting the career is getting internships. Internships can really help you to start your career with. So approach many companies if you can give internship opportunities. I'm sure they would love to take a work out of you and give a knowledge to you. So I believe this internship can really help in starting the career in whatever may it be regulatory affairs or in pharmacovigilance. But I would always suggest that if you're getting internship, get a knowledge of regulatory affairs, have a basic knowledge what it is, have a knowledge of ICH guidelines which are already in the internet, and go with it. And I'm sure you will have a good internship along with the experience of it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope this answers your question, Niranjan. So I would request everybody, we'll take up last 2, 3 questions. If you have any queries, please post in the chat. There's a question from Jania Sini. Sini, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, that you would like to know about Inspire Fellowship. So it's not although related to regulatory affairs. So just in short for you, that Inspire Fellowship is just to support and encourage talented students in science and technology fields to pursue a PhD. So, if you're a top performer in the university or have qualified the competitive examinations like GATE or NET and wants to do a doctoral degree, wants to get a doctoral research, wants to do doctoral research in basic and applied sciences, then you can definitely apply for. So, this is the target group for the Inspire Fellowship. For more details, you can mail it to cst@biotechnica.org. So, any more questions? Please post quickly in the chat. So, I have a question. Many students and attendees, they want to know that what regions or countries they currently offer the most opportunities for RA professionals. So, Chirag sir, you have a vast experience working with different countries. So, if you could please throw some light on this, like what regions or countries currently offer the most opportunities for RA professionals? Chirag sir, am I audible? Can you hear me?
I'm audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the question. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So basically, I just wanted to know, like, which regions or countries currently offer the most opportunities for RA professionals?
Yeah, so I mean, you can reach the region wise. The US and Europe are the countries wherein there are multiple options to work upon. So they have the vast opportunities, and commercial wise, they have a big uh, expansion in the commercial point of view. So I believe US and Europe are the regulated markets, and they can give a big opportunity for your career growth.
Thank you so much, sir. One last question I will be taking up now, and that is again from our one of our attendees, one of our uh, student who has been enrolled in other courses related to clinical research or clinical data management. So they are very much eager to know about the regulatory affairs as well, and especially now when we talk about artificial intelligence and the digital tools and uh, the data science. So the question is, what role will AI and digital tools play in the future of regulatory affairs? So, Dr. Ganeshan or Bhanu, Melvin ma'am, if any of you would like to take up this question.
Sure, if I may. So we see that AI and digital tools are transforming the regulatory affairs landscape in many different ways. Okay, so you have key applications of AI, like you have automated document manager. So these automated document managers or AI-powered systems can categorize, they can tag and analyze documents which are of similar, types, and segregate them into different ways, so that you don't have to manage all the paperwork all by yourself. There is something known as a regulatory intelligence. They are these AI driven predictive analytics or tools which help you identify the potential compliance issues. They will tell you, and some submission preparation can help you auto populate the forms or the templates when you are filling up these forms. And there is definitely the risk assessment tool, and you have AI to do the analysis of the data and to analyze and generate a whole lot of risk assessment tools. You can have a fishbone, or there are so many other tools which can be accessed and done using AI, where manual intervention would take a lot of labor. And finally, there is a very important tool for your labeling and document manager, so you don't have to repeat labels. And labeling is a very critical part in regulatory affairs. You cannot afford to have a single mistake in your labeling or how your logo looks. And that you definitely need more than human intervention, because just there are so many things which can go wrong, and AI is definitely helping, and it can generate like draft labels and compare multi-region labeling so that they are not repeated, and they are consistent throughout the global product labels. So a huge advantage exists, like you can have increased efficiency, you can have accuracy, and then you can have faster decision making abilities. Like you identify the issue, then and there you go for solving of it. So there is definitely a huge future of AI in regulatory affairs if you know how to implement and integrate them truly to your procedure. Thank you. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much. It's actually the question of most of the students. Like many people are very much scared because of the AI, like whether the AI will take up their jobs or something like that. So that's why I asked this question. So thank you so much. So before I
Dr.
come,
Tanushree?
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. I just wanted to add the last one point for Dr. Ganeshan, what she had said with respect to AI, because when I was training the other candidates, I have come across the same question. And if any of these aspirants sitting over here or listening to this one, if you guys are really looking into a career, an advanced career, like, we cannot just get a job today and sit in that place for years. We always have to plan our careers, like in next 2 years, where am I going to be? What am I going to do? In that particular sense, as Dr. Ganeshan has said, there is a huge amount of scope, right? Where in the artificial intelligence, the system is going to work based on what we feed, right? It cannot do everything by itself. So, in order to feed to the system, we need candidates or we need experts in natural language processing. In NLP, we call it as NLP, the first step where we can step into, like, we are not from this computer backgrounds, right? So we guys can really step into learning something known as natural language processing. So how we can process this regulatory language to the system, how we can make it to understand. Only then it will do the rest of the work. So you can target your careers in this so that you can be advanced before the market steps in, and you will be in a large mess. So you can plan like that. But before getting into NLP, we need to have a very good knowledge about regulatory. So get about regulatory knowledge, then implement in NLP, and then you will be ahead than the rest of the generation. So NLP is something that we'll all have to learn. Yeah, and that's it. I just wanted to add this.
No,
Thank you
no,
so
thank
much.
you so much, Bhanu ma'am, for such a wonderful insight. And definitely, it's really helpful. I'll take up last question, which is from Sri Lakshmi. This question is for you, Dr. Ganeshan, ma'am. She mentioned, so you mentioned about RA in IVF field. So could you explain more how one can enter into that?
Okay. This comes from my practical experience because I think gone are the days when the reproduction was normal, and we can see actually IVF centers like in every single street. You can just see so many IVF centers. So just look at the numbers and the devices that they use. For example, there will be devices which will be analyzing hormones. There will be devices, medical devices, which will be analyzing the semen analysis, and everything is being automated. Earlier, for semen analysis in particular, people used to sit and read out on the microscope, count 200 cells, and there is a whole WHO guideline for that. Nowadays, you just put a drop of it, and you analyze, and it is like 75 seconds to 1 minute. The entire analysis is done. Question. So, is actually a machine taking up the job of the technician? And if it is it doing the right job? And if it is doing the right job, is the machine accurate? Is it validated? And if it's validated, is it precise? And if it's precise, is it doing it accurately? So many documentation, the method validation, and you would like the process validation, automation, and how long can that machine function? Can there should be all this research should be done at the back end. A regulatory professional would be the one who would make sure that all this is already done, and when you submit it for the approval, because FDA is not going to approve any of these devices unless you have performance conformity with existing method, existing devices. You should be having a predicate device, and there is always how you classify these devices as the ones with class 1, the least risk, class 2, which has a moderate risk, class 3, which has the highest risk. Like anything which is having an implantation in the human body would be something like the pacemaker is the highest risk. And these diagnostic devices, they fall somewhere between 2 and 3, depending upon how the result is going to impact on lives of people. So there is definitely all these evaluations have to be done beforehand before it goes for an FDA or a EU certification. So before it goes there, you need to have all these documents done, analyzed, conformities should be done, and submitted. So only an RA professional would be truly able to understand if all the documents, like for every single device, they would be coming across so many documents like design history file, the device manufacture file, and so many different documentations and evidences to support these submissions. So that is why a career of an RA in this IVF field is just on the boom, because there's so many devices and instruments which are coming up in this field. I hope that answered your questions. Thank you.
Yes, definitely, ma'am. Definitely, it answers the question, Sri Lakshmi, right? So, Arjun, you have a question regarding that can it be done after BSc Biotech? So, we have already, I think you missed the session. A few questions we have taken that whether freshers, whether this field is for freshers or not. So, it has already been answered. You can go through the recording later. So, everybody, it's time for the surprise gift now. We are providing a ebook on drug regulatory affairs as a career path with hybrid work opportunities. The download link has been shared in the chat. And also, I'm excited to announce our upcoming Global Regulatory Affairs course, which is starting on 21st August. We look forward to welcoming you and helping you take your career to the next level. So, as we come to the close of today's insightful webinar, I would like to thank our esteemed speakers, Mrs. Bhanu Melvin ma'am, Mr. Chirag Panchal sir, and Dr. Ganeshan ma'am for their time, knowledge, and passion in guiding our attendees. Your valuable insights on global regulatory affairs, real world experiences have provided our attendees with valuable perspectives. And even a big thank you to all our participants for joining us today. We hope this session gave you valuable insights into launching and building your career in global regulatory affairs. Thank you everyone. So on behalf of Biotechnica, this is Dr. Tanushree signing off. Thank you and take care.
Thank you.